Hello everyone, good day. I hope you are doing well. So I want everyone to congratulate kasi you have reached this far in your academic journey. So hold on tight kasi nasa last part na tayo, which is ang finals para matapos na itong ating first semester. And then after this one, papasok na tayo sa panibagong yugto nating buhay. And then yun nga, we will be sa second semester na next year. So before we end this year, so let's discuss muna the first topic para sa ating finals. I hope everyone is ready. I hope na meron ng ballpen at saka notebook dyan, nakatabi nyo para makatake kayo ng notes. Okay, so to start, so this will be the continuation of our topic under probability distribution. So in pre-final period, we focused on discrete random variables which take on either a finite or countable number of values, and also the discrete probability distribution employed to calculate the probability associated with discrete random variable was also introduced during your pre-final. So aside from that, the binomial distribution that allows us to determine the probability that the random variable equals the number of successes was also introduced. So when we consider the binomial and Poisson distribution, we saw that the probability distributions were characterized by a formula for the probability of each possible discrete value, and all of the probabilities together sum up to 1. So for these last 3 weeks, the lesson will concentrate on another probability distribution in the form of continuous probability distribution. Specifically, for this pre-final, we will discuss about normal distribution, uniform distribution, and lastly, the exponential distribution. So before that, let me introduce to you our learning objectives. So at the end of the topic session, the student should be able to first identify the properties of a normal distribution, then convert values from any normal distribution to a standardized z-score, use the standardized normal distribution table to find probabilities, and also calculate the probabilities associated with a uniformly distributed random variable, and lastly, determine probabilities for an exponential probability distribution. So for our first topic for this lesson, we will discuss about the normal distribution. So our goal here is to identify the properties of a normal distribution, explain briefly each of the properties of the normal curve, and apply the normal distribution problems. So, ano ba itong normal distribution? Ano ba ang kaibahan ng continuous at saka discrete probability distribution? So, let's have a recall muna, Okay, so when we say continuous probability distribution, also known as probability density functions, it is used to describe continuous random variables, and it differs from a discrete probability distribution in several ways. So first difference ng continuous at discrete discrete probability distribution is this one. First, a continuous probability distribution cannot be expressed in tabular form. Instead, an equation or formula is used to describe it. So bakit ba? So, all the possible values kasi cannot be listed because there is an infinite number of values. So, that's the characteristic of continuous, diba? Continuous random variable. Yung kanyang values cannot be listed kasi there is an infinite number of values. So, as an example ng discrete random variables is syempre yung height, yung weight, diba? We have discussed this during our pre-final period. And also, the probability that a continuous random variable will assume a particular value is 0. So, due to infinite number of values, specific values in continuous distributions have a 0 probability. For instance, consider that the temperature can be an infinite number of other temperatures that are infinitesimally higher or lower than 32. So according to statisticians, an individual value has infinitesimally small probability that is equivalent to 0. Thus, the likelihood of measuring a temperature that is exactly 32 degrees is 0. So, precision lang yung lahat ng mga bagay na gina-measure, no, that is under continuous random variable. So, for this one, since we are talking about continuous probability distribution, so, ang variable niya will assume a particular value, no, which is 0. Okay, so we have here overall map, no, or table para sa mga under probability distribution. So, last time we have discussed itong discrete probability distribution, specifically the binomial, Poisson, but sadly hindi natin na-discuss itong si hypergeometric. So, for this finals, so we will discuss about the second type of probability distribution, which is continuous probability distributions. So, under sa continuous probability distribution, we will discuss itong si normal, uniform, at saka exponential, no? Just as there are different types of discrete distributions for different kinds of discrete data, there are also different distribution for continuous data. So, each probability distribution has parameters that defines each shape. So, first there is itong si normal. So, if we plot, no, if we graph the normal continuous probability distribution, ito yung kanyang itsura. I believe, no, or siguro familiar sa inyo itong graph na ito. And for uniform naman is ganyan yung pag-graph niya. And ang sa kanyang exponential continuous probability distribution is this one. Okay, so let's talk first ito si normal distribution. So, kaya laban pa class, no? Okay, so ano ba ito si normal distribution? So, normal distribution, also known as Gaussian distribution, it is the most popular and useful continuous probability distribution for a random variable x. And it describes data by two parameters. So, these two parameters, no, kailangan natin maintindihan kasi ito yung mga important terms that we need to understand under normal distribution. So, first there is the mean. So, the mean of the distribution, or denoted by, or yung symbol ng mean is mu. Ayan. The mean of the distribution determines the location of the center of the graph. Thus, changing its values will shift the average or center of the normal distribution, and the overall shape of the distribution remains the same. So, meaning daw, kahit na iba sila ng mean, but they have the same standard deviation, equal lang yung pagiging itsura, no, ng ating graph or ng ating normal distribution, or also known as yung Gaussian distribution. So, ganito yung kanyang sample, no? So, let's say, meron daw tayong mean na 40, and then mean na 50, mean na 60, but they all have the same standard deviation. Ayan, no? Symbol of standard deviation, yung parang S. So, same pa rin yung itsura nila. So, meron ding nabanggit dito na changing its values will shift the average, no? So, changing the mean shifts the distribution left or right. So, kung ano man yung value ng ating mean, it could shift, no, kung paano ba ma-distribute ng ating data. Is it right or left ng ating mean? So, since mean is the center of the graph, so, yung mga data under sa ating normal curve or sa ating graph, it could shift, no, from different direction. It could shift either sa left or sa right. So, later on, we will discuss about that further. So, let's proceed to the standard deviation of the distribution, no? So, yan yung kanyang symbol. Parang S. So, ano ba itong standard deviation? The standard deviation determines the height and the width of the graph. Hence, differing its values will either flattens out the normal curve or the normal curve becomes steeper. So, yan. So, let's say yung mean ng ating graph na ito is 1, but they have different values ng standard deviation nila. So, kung ano man daw yung value ng standard deviation, it will either flattens out the normal curve or yung normal curve natin becomes steeper. So, take note na, Kung ang standard deviation becomes smaller, the normal distribution becomes steeper. And when the standard deviation becomes larger, the normal distribution tends to flatten out or become broader. Kasi changing the standard deviation, it could increase or decrease the spread ng ating data or ng ating graph, no? Okay, so I hope that is clear, no? If you have inquiries or clarifications, don't be shy to message me sa ating teams. Okay, so those are the parameters ng ating normal distribution. So we have the mean and the standard deviation. So ang normal curve or yung graph ng normal distribution is also called the normal curve, no? So take note, we have here the important information na kailangan natin para sa normal distribution. Those are the mean and itong si standard deviation. So itong x na ito, yung nasa x-axis natin, yan yung ating random variables. Okay, so let's proceed. So let's talk about the properties of the normal curve. Okay, so to start, no? The normal distribution curve is symmetric about the mean. So since the mean is the central location of our graph, no, yan yung pinakagitna. So kung ano man yung mga data or ano man yung mga data, either left or right ng ating mean, they are symmetric, meaning equal sila, no? So for a distribution that is symmetrical and bell-shaped, so in particular for normal distribution, so ayan, approximately 68% of the data values will lie within one standard deviation on each side of the mean. So, ayan. Kung yung mean natin is 50, ayan, 50%. So, 68% daw ng data values will lie within one standard deviation. So, this is a fixed, no, or constant na information para sa property ng normal curve. And then, approximately naman, 95% of the data will lie within two standard deviation on each side of the mean. And then, approximately 99.7% or almost all of the data values will lie within three standard deviation on each side of the mean. So, that is the first property ng ating normal curve, no? Which is symmetric about the mean yung ating distribution ng data. And the second property naman is that the mean, the median, and the mode are equal. So since the mean, median, and mode, it talks about the central location of the data, yung pinaka-centermost, no, ng ating data. So all of them are equal. And then the normal curve is asymptotic. So meaning it never touches the x-axis. So as you can see, no, dito sa ating graph, yan. So, since this is itong blue line na ito, yan yung graph ng ating normal curve. And then, itong line here, I hope makita, no? Ito, basta yung normal distribution, yung x-axis natin. Ang graph natin, it never touches, no, sa ating x-axis. So, meaning the curve is asymptotic. And the fourth property ng ating normal curve is that the total area under the part of a normal distribution curve is 1 or 100%. So, if you add all the data under the normal curve or ng graph natin, they are equal to 1. And since this is probability distribution, so, di ba, meron ding property, ang probability distribution na kapag i-add mo lahat ng data, dapat equal to 1 sila. So, same with sa normal distribution, all the area under the part of a normal distribution curve is 1 or 100%. And the last property, no, ng ating normal curve is that the normal curve area may be subdivided into at least 3 standard scores, each to the left, to the right of the vertical axis. Along the horizontal line, the distance from one integral standard score to the next integral standard score is measured by the standard deviation. So, this may explain simply by using that the total area ay mali. Ayun. Okay, so to solve certain types of statistical problems by means of the properties of the normal curve of any given variable is to be converted into a standardized normal curve by obtaining the z value. So yung z value natin, also known as the standard score or the standard normal deviates or the standard normal values z-scores or the z-statistics, is assigned distance between a selected value, designated x, and the mean divided by the standard deviation. So, meron tayong formula, no, how to solve itong ating z-score. So, ito yung ating formula. So, it talks about the relationship between the z-score and the random variable x. Okay, so the formula for solving for the z-score is this one. Z is equal to random variable x less the mean over the standard deviation. So, as you can see, itong x minus mean, this shifts the mean of x to 0. And then yung standard deviation naman natin, this changes the shape of the curve. So, ano na ba to mga variables na ito or notations na ito, no? So, itong z natin, it stands for standard score. X is the value of any particular observation or measurement. Mu is the mean of distribution, and this, yung S is the standard deviation of the distribution. Okay, so let's have an example now how to solve for this one. So for instance, if we know that for a particular normal distribution, so we have here a graph, yan. Ano ba itong area natin under the curve, no? And then, since meron tayong given dyan na mean, which is equal to 100, and then yung standard deviation natin is 15, and then, we have here x, or yung random variable natin, is greater than 130. So, ano ba daw yung ating z-score here, or the value of our z? So, to solve this one, no? Ayan, since given naman ang x, ang mean, at saka standard deviation, so we just simply substitute all these values sa ating formula. So we have 130 minus 100 over 15, and simplifying that one, we have 30 over 15. So therefore, yung z natin, or the standard score z, corresponding to the probability that the random variable x is less than 130 is 2. So, this means that the point x is 2 standard deviations to the right of the mean. So, ayan. So, this one is ayan, no? Ito yung graph ng ating normal distribution. And then, since the z-score is 2, ayan, nandito yan siya na part. Ayan, I hope makita yung parang ano ba tawag, pointer? Yan, so 2. So, all the data here, ayan, no? So, that is the z-score natin, or the standard score ng ating given na normal distribution. So, another example, ayan. So, since we are able to solve for the standard score, now, let's look, no, kung ano ba yung area ng ating curve na ito, yung area under the curve nito, itong green. Ano ba tong area nito? So, we could determine, no, yung area niya using yung ating distribution table, no, yung z. Actually, ito siya. This one is nasa module number 2 ata natin, or handouts 2, no? You may download it para magamit natin ito as basis para malaman natin yung area under the curve. Okay, so since, ayan, P of x is greater than 130, or less than 130, and then we are able to solve for the standard score, which is 2. So, ano ba yung area ng ating curve? Ito, under area itong shaded, no? So, using yung distribution table, so since yung z natin, or yung standard score natin is 2, yan. And then, since 2.00 yan siya, no? So, look for the value of z. Ayan, 2.0. So, the first two variable or first two numbers sa ating decimal. So, 2.0. So, nandito yan siya, 2.0. And then, the next variable or the next value there is 0. So, since, ayan, 0 yan siya. So, we have here this one. So, I hope makita yung arrow, no? So, kung saan nag-intersect yung dalawang arrow dyan, yan yung ating area. Yan yung area ng ating shaded region, no, under the normal curve. So, since 0.9772 dyan, so that is the area, and then transforming it or converting it into percentage, no, so we have 97.72%. So, I hope that is clear, no. If you have concerns, don't hesitate to message me sa Teams. Okay, so let's have another example, no? So x is a normally distributed variable with mean, mu is equal to 30, and standard deviation is equal to 4. Find the probabilities na yung x natin is less than 40, yung x naman natin is greater than 21, and x is greater than 30 but less than 35. Okay, so let's solve first yung sa A. X is less than 40. So, since the given is that x is equal to 40, mean is equal to 30, and the standard deviation is equal to 4, substitute natin yan siya sa ating formula, which is z is equal to x minus mean over SD, or standard deviation. And then substitute that, we have 40 minus 30, so we have the standard score or z-score, which is 2.5. So, hence, P of x is less than 40, or yung standard score natin is less than 2.5, so we have 0.9938. So, ano ba? Saan galang tong 0.9938? So, we could identify, or we could know that, no, using yung ating distribution table ng ating z-score. So, ayan. So, since yung z natin is 2.5, so, yan siya. Nandito yan siya sa ating standard deviation na table, no? Ayan. 2.5. So, 2.5 siya, and then sunod ng 2.5 is 0. So, kaya ayan siya. So, we have 0.9938 para sa area under the curve. Or converting that into percentage, so we have 99.38%. Now, let's solve for the letter B. So, yung x naman natin is 21, and then standard deviation is 4, and still ang mean natin is equal to 30. So, we just simply substitute that sa ating formula. So, we have negative 2.25. So, hence, since yung z-score natin is negative value, no, negative 2.25, and then wala namang area na negative yung variable or value, I mean, so we need to subtract it, no, sa 1, which is the total area, diba? Yung total area naman natin sa area under the normal curve is 1, yung totality. So, we need to subtract yan, no? Total area minus area to the left of negative 225. Negative 2.25. So, 1 minus 0.0122. So, saan naman galing itong 0.0122? So, galing yan siya dito sa ating table naman, no? So, since yung value ng ating z is negative 2.25, so, negative 2.2, ayan, focus lang kayo dito, negative 2.2, nandito yan siya. And then, yung sunod niya is 0.05, ayan. So, therefore, yung area to the left of negative 2.25 is 0.0122. So, therefore, yung value natin dito, no, for letter B is 0.9878 or 98.78%. And then, for the last one, kapag yung x naman natin is 30, still yung mean natin is 30, and standard deviation is 4, so substitute na natin yan siya sa ating formula. So, we have z, which is equal to 0. And then, yung isa naman, yung x naman natin is equal to 35, so yung z-score natin or z-value is equal to 1.25. So, hence, yung probability, no, distribution ng x, which is less than 30, but greater than 30 but less than 35, so we have this one. Area to the left of z, which is equal to 1.25, less area to the left of z, which is equal to 0. So, using yung table pa rin, no, yung standard deviation or yung z-score natin, which is yung distribution table, 1.25 equivalent niya is 0.8944. And then yung 0 naman na standard score, equivalent niya is 0.5. So, subtract na natin yung dalawa, we have 0.3944. So, I hope that's clear, no? And then, if you have questions, just message me sa ating Teams. So, as for your practice exercise, so this will be your SIPPER. So, I will just post it sa ating ELMS and as well as sa Teams. Okay, so we are done with the normal distribution, no? So, let's proceed sa second na type of continuous probability distribution, which is the uniform distribution. So, for this topic session, we will just discuss two topics, no? First, the normal distribution, and then this one is the last, which is uniform distribution. So, specifically, under this topic, we will discuss an example of event that is uniformly distributed. Okay, so to start, ano ba itong uniform distribution? So, uniform distribution is also known as rectangular probability distribution, no? So, this is another type of distribution for continuous data that is a uniform distribution. So, itong uniform distribution is a probability distribution that has constant probability, and then it is a continuous distribution in which the same height of the function is obtained over a range of values. So, ano ba itong mga values na ito? So, this distribution is defined by two parameters, which are the A and B. A is the minimum and B is the maximum. And then, in graphing uniform distribution is ganito yung kanyang itsura, no? So, constant ng yung probability natin under the uniform distribution. Okay, so let's have the formula for this one. So, ang formula para sa maka-obtain tayo, no? Ma-obtain natin yung uniform distribution. So, we have f of x is equal to 1 over b minus a. For a is less than or equal to x, but x is less than or equal to b, where a is the smallest value the variable can accept, b naman is the largest value the variable can accept. So, typo lang ito, no? Wala tayong mean at saka standard deviation para dito sa ating formula sa uniform distribution. Okay, so yung uniform distribution, ayan, the length of the rectangular base is b minus a, and the total area under the curve or probability distribution function should be 1. So, same with sa normal distribution, dapat yung total area under the curve sa uniform distribution is also equal to 1. So, therefore, so this one is just the parang derivation, no? Paano tayo nakakome up with this formula? So, we have here, since we have the height of the rectangle times yung rectangular base or yung length ng rectangular base, which is b minus a, and that is equal to 1. So, therefore, if we solve for the height of the rectangle or yung formula para sa uniform distribution, we have 1 over b minus a. And then, yung distribution natin, no, for the uniform distribution, it is written as u of a and b. U, A, B, ayan. So, let's have an example. So, the following graph shows the distribution with a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 3. So, kapag i-graph daw natin yan siya, is ganito yung kanyang itsura. So, this is just an example problem, no? And then, given na itong graph natin. So, paano natin identify na ang A natin is 1 at saka yung B natin is 3? So, simply, ayan siya, no? Nandito yan siya sa, wait lang. Ayan siya. Yan yung ating A and this is our B. Nasa paanan lang ng ating rectangle, no? And then, as you can see, yung kanyang graph is naka-rectangle. So, kaya rectangular probability distribution yung tawag ng ating uniform distribution. Okay, so in the above graph, the area is, since we solve, diba, yung formula ng area ng rectangle is length times height. So, yung length natin dito is 2, and then yung height naman natin is 0.5. And kapag i-multiply natin yun siya, that is equal to 1. So, bakit yung length natin is 2? So, di ba? Yung length ng rectangular base is just simply b minus a, di ba? So, b minus a. So, yung b natin here is 3. And then, yung a natin is 1. So, kaya, 3 minus 1, that is equal to 2. So, kaya yung length natin dito is 2. And then, yung height naman natin is 0.5. And then, 0.5 is just given sa ating graph. So, therefore, yung area ng ating graph here is 1. Okay, so another example. So, if you have a question about here, no, just PM me sa MS Teams. Okay, let's have another example. So, the average amount of weight gained by a person over the winter months is uniformly distributed from 0 to 30 pounds. Find the probability a person will gain between 10 and 15 pounds during the winter months. Okay, so paano natin ito ma-solve itong problem na ito? Okay, so step 1. We need to find the height of the distribution. So, the area under a probability distribution is always 1, diba? So, as there are 30 units, that is from 0 to 30, then the height is 1 over 30. So, step 2, find the width of the slice of the distribution mentioned in the question. So, do this by subtracting the biggest number b from the smallest, which is a. So, to get b minus a, that is equal to 15 minus 10, or simply 5. So, saan galing itong 15 minus 10? So, since we need to find the probability of a person that will gain between 10 to 15 pounds, so kaya, yung b natin here is 15, and then yung a naman natin is 10. So, that is equal to 5. Then, step 3, multiply the width with yung nasa ating step 2 by the height na na-gain natin or nakuha natin sa step 1. So, we have the probability. So, 5 times 1 over 30. So, that is equal to 5 over 30. Or kapag simplify natin yan siya, we have 1 over 6. So, ganun lang, no? First, we need to find the height of the distribution. So, since ang amount or the average amount of weight na nagain ng person during winter is uniformly distributed from 0 to 30 pounds. So, kaya, yung height niya is 1 over 30. So, constant yan siya kasi since from 0 to 30 man siya. So, kaya yung height natin is 1 to 30. And then, yung width naman or yung yan sa step 2. So, we have 5, no? So, kaya multiply natin yan siya. We could get the probability which is 1 over 6. Okay, another example. What is the probability that a person waits fewer than 12.5 minutes? So, let x be the number of minutes a person must wait for a bus. And since we have here, so ito siya, no? Given na itong a at saka b natin. And then, solving this one, so solving for the height or yung uniform distribution, we have 1 over b minus a, right? So, 1 over 15 minus 0, that is simply 1 over 15. And then, i-graph natin yung ating probability, no? Probability distribution, which is fewer man daw, 12.5 minutes. So, kaya, P of x is less than 12.5. So, if we graph that one, or if we solve for that one, so, syempre, para ma-solve natin yung probability, di ba? Base times height, or yung length times width. So, yung length natin dito, ayan, we have 12.5 minus 0, times yung height natin, which is 1 over 15. And that is equal to 0.8333. So, continuation niya is this one. So, the probability a person waits less than 12.5 minutes is 0.83. And then, if we graph that one, is ganito yung kanyang itsura. So, 12.5, ayan. Then, another example is this one. You arrive into a building and are about to take an elevator to your floor. Once you call the elevator, it will take between 0 and 40 seconds to arrive to you. We will assume that the elevator arrives uniformly between 0 and 40 seconds after you press the button. So, what is the probability that elevator takes less than 15 minutes to arrive? Okay, so yung A natin here is equal to 0 and B naman natin is equal to 40. So, since we assume man daw na the elevator arrives uniformly between 0 and 40. So, kaya yung A natin is 0 and B naman natin is 40. And if we rewrite that one, no, using the symbol, so we have U 0, 40. And then, to solve for the height, so diba yung height natin, or formula natin for solving for the height is f of x is equal to 1 over b minus a. So 1 over b minus a, that is simply 1 over 40 minus 0. Then simplifying that one, we have 1 over 40 or 0.025. Now, since nakabanggit dyan is we need to solve for the probability that the elevator takes less than 15 seconds to arrive. So ano daw yung probability ngayon? So we have p of x is less than 15. So yung base natin dito is ayan, 15 minus 0 times the height, which is 1 over 40. So 15 minus 0, that is 15, and then times 1 over 40, that is 15 over 40, or simply 0.375. So the probability that elevator takes less than 15 seconds to arrive is 0.375. So, if you have questions, just don't be shy to PM nyo sa ating teams. And then, that will be the end of our topic, no? For under uniform distribution. And this one will be your activity. So, I will just post about it sa ating ELMS. So, that's the end of our lesson for this first topic para sa finals. So, we already discussed about sa normal distribution, and then we also discussed about sa uniform distribution. So, meron na tayong isa, no, na iwan, which is yung exponential distribution. So, I think sa next year siguro natin yun siya discuss. So, this time, ito lang muna yung dalawa. So, if you have questions, clarifications, don't be shy to PM me or message me sa Teams. Okay? So, wait kayo ng mga announcements ko sa Teams na lang din. Okay, have a great day ahead everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy. God bless and goodbye.